Hi, I'm Anthony, founder of 111 Media, and today I'm going to show you through how to set up a parallax scrolling website with this scroller jQuery library. So there's a few demos off their website, the kind of thing we're going to create. Notice how the animation's triggered with the scrolling down of the website. There's another demo. So notice how your header's scrolling as you scroll down. And here's what we're actually going to be creating. So just jump to my final files. This is the demo we're going to set up today. And this is set up with pure CSS3 animation. So there's very little jQuery, so don't be scared. So let's jump in and see how we did this. Okay, so first thing we need to do is download the files off GitHub. So you're looking for the scroller library, download the zip, and then within that zip file you will find the scroller JavaScript library. First thing we need to do is link this file to our page. I'm using Adobe Edge Code to do my editing. And also, with this library, you need to remember to link it from the bottom, so after your body tags. And we're just going to link this scroller library. Okay, and the final thing we need to do, the last piece of JavaScript, let's have a look at the examples in the GitHub. And you will see a piece of code at the bottom. We just need to steal that. And that's all the jQuery you need to get this demo working. So that's it for scripts. So now we've got that loaded, we'll move on to stage 2. So you'll need to design a web page. I laid out my sample in Illustrator like this, just to get the basic concept going. And then I translated this into HTML. You'll notice I've got the position of the elements styled within the div tag using the style class. And another important thing to remember here is, if we look at some of my elements that are animated, we've set the position of the elements to either absolute or relative. And this allows Scroller to animate the position of these elements on the page. So let's just preview this file so you can see what I've got at this stage. Okay, so as you see, a very static, pretty standard website really. Okay, so let's move on to animating some of these elements. Okay, so I'll get my stage 3 open. Okay, so if we jump in, the first thing you need to do to animate the position of these elements on the page is have this data attribute. So if you think of data 0 as being the very first keyframe on the page, so the very top of the page. Okay, and then I've set the position of my CSS elements within the data class. So this library is basically using the data HTML5 data class to set keyframes on the page. So data 1000 will be 1000 pixels from the top. So here we can see on this demo, I've got some elements animating 1000 pixels from the top, and that's where it ends up. This other element I've got animating, let's find this with my code so we can explain that one to you. Here's my line, so this one starts at 1000 pixels from the top and ends at 2000 pixels from the top. And we've set the top position, the left, we've got transform bounds, which is an easing equation, and the rotation, so this is rotating from 360 degrees to 0 degrees, as you see here. Okay, an important thing to remember with this is to keep your elements in the same order. So if you're animating the top, keep that first, then left position, otherwise it gets confused and your animations won't work correctly. So it's very important to remember. So let's just look at setting a keyframe for an element that's not been animated yet. Okay, so let's just refresh this. Okay, so let's jump in and see how we can animate some of these elements on the stage that I've not set up yet. Okay, so let's look at this I am social. So you can see I've got the top and the left position already set in the style. So I'm going to set data attribute for the keyframe 4000, and for this I'm literally going to copy the style because I'm just going to animate the top and the left positions on this one. So that's the first keyframe, and that's the last keyframe set at 5000. So that's where we want it to end up. So let's animate it from the left. So I'm just going to change that to 0 pixels. So let's see what we've got going on now. So we're looking at the I am social. So now you can see as I scroll down the page, the element animates in. So we've not got that quite right. Let's look at maybe slightly earlier, 4500. It's coming in a little bit late, so 4200. Okay, and now you see it settles nicely on the page. And maybe let's bring it slightly further off to the left so it actually disappears. Okay. And now let's look at doing the underline. So this is just styled up with a HR class. Once again, set a keyframe at 4000 pixels from the top. I need equals in there, sorry I'm getting my marker all wrong. And then we're going to animate the top and the left. So again, let's set a keyframe 4200, and this time let's bring this one in from the top to -150, and we should see the animation. So it's really simple. So now you see this drops down, so let's bring it up slightly more, 350, have it disappearing, and then it comes in. So it's really that simple to set up elements to animate on your page. And again, we can build these up. So let's look at one of these diamonds. We're going to have this coming in at 4200, and then we want to animate again the top position. And then the final keyframe 4500, and let's have that come in from the top. So reduce position from the top. But what you've got to be careful of, you may find some elements appearing in your top screens. So that one's not too bad actually. So I can leave that there, and you'll see that's going to just drop down at the end. So again, maybe slightly too early. So let's change that keyframe to 42 and back to 4000 for this screen. So that's going to make it come in at a similar time. And to set your layers, you can basically use your Z index. So if I wanted to change that over, let's go to my style sheet, my small diamond, and set a Z index of 50 just to make sure it's in front of everything there. See, now it's in the front, and I can drop it behind 10. So you can layer up your elements on the page so you've got things crossing over as you like them. And that's it really. So if we jump to the final stage, you can see if we jump to the final stage here, you can see I've animated all my elements. I've got some colour animations going in here. For colour you must use the RGB property. It won't use hex tags. You can use RGB or HSL, but you must keep it the same for each of your keyframes. So if we take a look at this final one, you'll see my first screen animating as we scroll down. Again, I've just designed this so you can really have a play and put in your own elements and just experiment as I've done, really. So different elements flying in from the left, from the top, from the right, and changing colour just using CSS3. So have a play and do let me know if you've created anything fantastic that I need to see. And thanks for listening. See you next time.